Alright, I'm here at Carp City, and I thought about coming over here and fishing a little bit this morning because Railroad Park is crowded because we got a lot of games going on over there, a lot of parking's taken up. But this water has risen up. You can actually see out in the water the covering that used to be down right where we fish. So I don't know why this water, it hadn't rained like this. So some way there, water's getting pumped into here. And then over there, way over in that corner, I don't know if you can see it, I was going to try to zoom in, but my zoom ain't working out and recording. Way over there in that corner, way over there, where Dart Rail is right about now, that usually the guys were driving all the way around and you can see that the road part of it is almost covered up now. So there's water coming here somehow, and it hadn't been from rain because it hadn't. This had rained over here a great deal, but it hadn't because the ground is not wet. So I don't know how this water got in here, but that kind of foiled the fishing plans because there's no bank. Anyway, we'll go to our next thing that we're going to do. I'll take another shot of this and then we'll move on. So partially you can see right now there is no more bank. That debris out there in the water, right there, that's where that was kind of on the bank. So there is no bank. I think the only place to fish here would be right down there where the road goes down, but the road doesn't go all the way around anymore over there. All that's covered in water now. The bank over there where the guys used to fish, all that's covered in water. So somehow water is being pumped into here, evacuated in here somehow. God almighty, I was just here the other day, man. It would have had to rain a great deal for this water to come up this high, so evidently it's getting pumped in here from somewhere. I don't know, have no idea. I don't even know what this place is called. I call it Carp City because I don't know the name of it. It's not listed on Texas Parks and Wildlife. I just talked to a couple of guys here going fish here, and they think that this is filling up like this because of the spillway up at Louisville Tail Race being open. And I didn't know that this here was actually connected to that. I knew that over in this park back over here I'm finna go to now and check it, the levels in it. I knew it was in the Trinity River, and it goes down to Dallas too. And I know Railroad Park gets fed off of it too. But I didn't know this is down the road, a piece almost to Hebron, and on the other side of that side over there. So anyway, we're gonna go check out this other part and see what's going on over there. I should have put my mount up and put this camera on it, but I'm holding my hand. I'm not going far. Hopefully it don't shake up too much. We're just going right back here to Hebron and take a left, and then we'll take another right real quick and hit the park. We'll hit this park real quick and see if it's flooding. We know that the spillway's wide open if it is. On it right now. This camera is the one I was critiquing, and I don't have that cover on it, so I can't mount it on anything. Yep, looks like that's up over there. Let's see what's going on down here. Yep, I see the water level up high. So I'm gonna believe in that it is. That water over there is up high. Yeah, they opened the spillway. They got it closed off, so evidently that's the reason why. Got it closed off for some reason. Yeah, they got it closed off, locked up. I don't know why. Some people done climbed over the fence or climbed through the fence and got in there anyway, but you know, some people's gonna do what they want to do anyway. It don't make them no difference. Regardless, chain don't mean nothing on the fence there. But anyway, we up out of this camp. We can get out of here. I hate the fact that this camera has to be in that case where you can mount it on anything, which is not. There's some more vehicles here, so there's some other people here somewhere off in there. They got it locked down. They got it locked down for a reason, but like I said, some people don't care. That's how people wind up getting hurt and wind up drowned and whatever else. They don't care. They just break the rules. Don't apply to them. Anyway, we're going to head back to the house and do our little report. We did a report for you guys on the lakes and ponds, the difference, how they distinguish the lakes from the ponds, and also another report I got about carp. I call it carp versus catfish, so we're going to take a look at that too. All right, later. All right, so I tell you guys I was going to give you a report, check back, get a report. Anyway, on lakes and ponds and how you distinguish one from the other. After I went to Warren Park, Vial Lake, in Frisco, and it was like 2 feet deep, man. That looked like, to me, all of it looked like it was real shallow. But anyway, I just did this research online and about this here, and at the end of the day, y'all may think like I think. It don't make a whole lot of difference what they say, what they call them. It said, what makes well, let me do it like this. A pond is a body of standing water, either natural or artificial, that is usually very small when compared to a lake. That's the definition. A lake is a water body localized in a basin that is surrounded by land apart from any river or other outlet that serves to feed and drain it. Lakes lie on land and are not part of the ocean, of course we know that, and therefore distinct from lagoons, and are also larger and deeper than ponds. Okay, so though there are no official or scientific definitions or specifications, so a lake could be a lake, a pond could be called a pond. What makes a pond not a lake? It may surprise you to know that there is no technical difference between lakes and ponds. According to the National Park Service, however, a general rule of thumb is if a body of water is large and deep, it's a lake, and if it's short and shallow, it's a pond. Go figure. Breaking down lake and pond characteristics, scientists sometimes use the total surface area to help classify a water body, but the main differentiating factor that determines whether an inland body of water is a lake or a pond is depth. A deeper body of water has a different, more complex environment for aquatic life than a shallow one. Makes sense. As a result, some ponds are actually larger than some lakes. So if they're going by depth. Ponds are generally shallower, and the entire area of the pond is what scientists call a photic, P-H-O-T-I-C, photic zone, which means that the sunlight penetrates through the shallow water all the way to the bottom. In the shallower waters found in ponds, the ecosystem is more consistent than that of lakes and may support more rooted plants, pond weeds, phytoplankton, and algae. Lakes are usually much deeper, and the sunlight cannot reach the bottom in most places. This is called the aphotic zone, and since no sun, the aphotic, A-P-H-O-T-I-C zone, and since no sunlight penetrates to the bottom, no plants, phytoplankton, or algae grow there. This makes the ecosystem of a lake very different from that of ponds, as these photic areas are populated solely by carnivorous organisms. So that's the difference. The depth makes a difference on the aquatic life in there also. So anyway, and then they talk about the waiver. Here's a quick test to determine if you're looking at a lake or a pond. Does sunlight penetrate the entire water body all the way through to the bottom? Does it have waves that are smaller than 12 inches? Okay, 12 inches, about like that. I guess when the winds boys got waves. Is the water temperature uniform throughout? Because a lake being deeper, the water temperature is going to vary at certain depths. With a pond, if the sun shines all the way through to the bottom, then most of the water temperature is going to be about the same degrees. So that's it. So if you answer yes
answer to these questions, if your answer to these questions is yes, the water body is considered a pond. If the answer is no, it is considered a lake. Does the sunlight penetrate the entire water body through to the bottom? Does it have waves that are smaller than 12 inches? Is the water temperature uniform throughout the whole water body? If the answer to these questions is yes, the water body is considered a pond. If it's no, it's a lake. What's in a name? Ponds versus lakes. Here's a clincher. After asking yourself the question above, you may experience some confusion. While a water body may by definition be a pond, it might be referred to by the community as a lake. The simple answer is that it's arbitrary long ago. Someone chose a term and used it in the name. It's easy to see why, since most people tend to identify lakes and ponds by their sizes. So if something's about big as my backyard, they're going to call it a pond, no matter how deep it is or whatever. And then people name stuff. I mean, if somebody's got a body of water on their land or something, they may call it, if their name's Smith, they may call it Smith Lake or Smith Pond. So everybody else going to refer to it the same way, Smith Lake, and it might be a pond, actually by scientific definition. Or it could be a lake and somebody calling it a pond, because I've fished some of these places I'm fishing that they're calling ponds. They're like, that's a lake. But anyway, that's what that is. I was going to check that out and see how they did it and why they call it. So the body of water, they may call it a lake. They may call it maybe named lake or pond or creek or whatever. Well, we know creeks flow, like rivers, creeks going to flow. They may call it a lake or a pond, and that just might be the name that somebody started calling it or coined it a long time ago and called it, and that's what it's been called ever since. And it may be a lake, and they may call it a pond, and maybe a pond, they call it a lake. So anyway, you guys got the straight definition on that. Now the other thing that I'm going to give you a report on, I call it carp versus catfish because I did some research on it. Because I heard Robbie Fishing. I subscribe to Robbie Fishing. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of fishing shows, but Robbie Fishing comes on. Robbie, he was talking about, I guess they were getting ready to stock some catfish in some water body over there where he is. They was getting ready to stock some catfish, which was good. And he made a comment about carp and the catfish, and that made me want to do that research. And so when I did, what I found out was that carp may have an effect on the ecological system of the body of water that they're in. Carp, they spawn vigorously. I mean, they sometimes 2 or 3 times a year they spawn. I'm understanding by research that sometimes they can spawn up to 3 times a year, and they can lay up. They have 5 to 600,000 eggs in them at a time. And so all the carp that I've caught, I can tell you from Carp City. And that's the main thing I'm talking about, because you guys know I've been trying to catch catfish at Carp City for some time now. And the only catfish I personally have caught out of there was last year, and he was about 5-6 inches. I threw him back. So I hope a guard, that guard took a picture of the other day, maybe a guard, somebody ate him. I hope not. But my thinking is that, I told you guys all the baits that I tried in there. If not, go back and watch the videos I tried. I know we tried worms, we had bread, we had shrimp, we had liver, we had strawberry soaked chicken breast. What else we had? We had hot dogs. We had everything in there but a minnow. And so I'm like, where are the catfish? It's so strange there ain't no catfish, man. Because all this fishing I've been doing over there back and forth from side to side, I want to call some catfish at least here or there. A catfish, you know what I'm saying? A catfish here or there. Now, granted, I'm fishing with bread. I'm not really, if I'm using bread all the time, I'm not really expecting to catch, but carp or buffalo, stuff like that, suckers and maybe turtles like I did the other day. But one time I go over there, sometimes I just use strictly worms. I'm trying to prove catfish in here. And then I had the shrimp that time, and it must around what a buffalo could bit on some shrimp, caught a buffalo. And this jello soaked chicken breast, stuff like that. I'm trying to catch the catfish, but I ain't nothing hitting that, man. I'm telling you, it's just boring sitting there trying to do that. Now listen to this. This is the research that I got offline after listening to Robbie Fishing. And when Robbie Fishing made the statement he made, I put a video of this, but it's the video where he's talking about them stocking some old catfish in this lake, river, whatever it is, and so anyway, H. Robbie Fish, that just Robbie Fish, because that kind of made me start thinking, because this may explain the dilemma of me not being able to catch any catfish, anybody catching any catfish in this place, Carp City. This is my question, are common carp dangerous to catfish spawning? Yes. Common carp can be dangerous to catfish spawning for several reasons, primarily due to their disruptive bottom feeding habits and potential for egg predation. When overabundant carp can uproot plants, increase water turbidity. Well, that water ain't really that turbid. I mean, dirty, kicking up dust in it and making the water cloudy. That's what they mean by that. Like Railroad Park number 2, where I showed you guys. And disrupt the structure of the spawning beds, which are crucial for catfish to successfully spawn. Additionally, some evidence suggests that carp may prey on the eggs of other fish, including catfish, further impacting spawning success. Now here's a detailed explanation of each reason. Disrupting spawning beds. Carp forage for food by rooting in the bottom of the water, which can destroy or damage the vegetation and substrates that catfish use to build their nest or lay their eggs. 1. Reducing water quality, which, I mean, Carp City, if they're doing it, it's got to be out the center somewhere, because where I was showing you guys, it was kind of basically clear, so the water turbidity is not really a big issue over there, not from what I can see. Reducing water quality. Carp can cause increased turbidity by stirring up sediment and releasing nutrients, which can negatively impact the water environment and make it less suitable for catfish spawning. So they could be stirring. I mean, they know they stir up the, cat. That's what carp do. I showed you. I think I got a couple of videos. I'm gonna post them, and I'm gonna show you these carp, man, foraging over at Railroad Pond number 2, and watch them foraging and then kicking up dust. Anyway, potential for egg predation. While not a primary food source for carp, they have been observed to consume the eggs of other fish, including catfish. Outcompeting for resources. Common carp can outcompete catfish for food and space, especially in environments where they are abundant, potentially leading to the reduced catfish population. That's what I think is going on in Carp City. There's tons of carp in there, man. I caught a carp the other day on video, and I called him juvenile, and he was just he had to be like 10 inches, 10, 11 inches, and he had to come out maybe out the last spawn or the spawn before that, man. So there are tons of catfish in Buffalo. I'm going to call it one time, I almost changed the name to Buffalo Bayou, because catfish, carp and buffalo are prevalent there. You ain't going to have no problem catching those two, and turtles, of course. But catfish, man, that's sad, man. That's what I'm thinking is going on. And I wouldn't know any way to remedy that, man. I don't know where to remedy that. I just hope that, that doesn't mean that there's no catfish in there. That's not what I'm thinking or saying. They're scarce. That's what I'm thinking. They're just scarce, man. And that may be the reason that they're scarce. There may be some in there fending to survive, whatever. And there may be some larger catfish in there for me to have found a small one, but the alligator gar in there, and just like that one I showed you guys the other day, he's like 3-4 feet long, man. Needle-nose gar. I don't know if he's a catfish or not. I don't know gar. I know they attack, and so they're predatory. So, but anyway, that was just a couple of things in my mind I wanted to report to you guys. And I did go down this morning. I'm posting that video, and the water is so high up now, it's covered the bank. It's covered up the road that went all the way around, because my friends, they used to drive around almost to the other side and fishing over another side, but that water's all the way up. And I'm thinking that, where does water come from? I was here the other day, man. The bank's covered up now. And so one way to tell a good mark on the video is to look at this little tree, man. It's a little green tree, man. Look at this tree and see where this tree is situated, how close it is to the water. And in my other videos where I'm at Carp City on that side, you're not going to see that tree. That's because it's further up. So that water has came up, man. And we're thinking that it's from the Louisville Tail Race. They've opened a spillway up off of the lake. Because I looked at the Trinity River, it is swollen. And then over at, I want to call this, I want to call it Trinity Park. I think that's what it is on Hebron. There's a little park that they made off to the side structure, and right there by the bridge, and it is up. You know, it got the gates locked, and I think that's why they locked them, because they're opening that spillway up, and the water's coming. They know it's gonna flood in there, and it's supposed to rain. It's supposed to be a lot of rain coming in this evening, so they know it's gonna flood, and that's probably why they got it closed up, so idiots don't go in there and drown. But as you can see, you're gonna see in the videos, people are already done climbing through the fence and over and off in there somewhere doing stuff. You know, you got no business. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna report today. The fishing, we didn't get to fish today, which is not a bad thing. Maybe Monday or Tuesday. But I wanted to give you guys that report, and you know, knowledge is a good thing, man. It's good to know. But anyway, so thank you guys for watching. God bless you. Like and subscribe. It's gonna get better. All right. Praise the Lord.